All right, today we're jumping into something really cool. It's a new discovery that's completely changing how we see these incredible ancient structures in Peru. You know, those massive agricultural terraces.
Yeah, for centuries, we pretty much thought we had them figured out. But some new research is asking this totally mind bending question. What if they weren't just farms? What if they were also, get this, giant mountain sized clocks designed to track the cosmos? Now, before we get into just how radical that idea is, we gotta appreciate the genius we already knew was there. So let's set the scene a bit.
Okay, so picture this. We're in the Sacred Valley of Peru. It's just breathtakingly beautiful, but it's also home to these staggering feats of engineering. We're talking about pre-Incan agricultural terraces literally carved into the mountains thousands of years ago. I mean, they are absolute masterpieces.
And for the longest time, the story was pretty much settled. Everyone agreed these were an absolutely brilliant solution for farming. I mean, think about it. They let people grow food on slopes that should be impossible to farm. They created these little microclimates for all sorts of different crops. They stopped soil erosion, and their irrigation systems, flawless. So, an agricultural marvel, right? Case closed. Or so we thought.
But here's the thing. The sheer precision of these structures, it just got some researchers thinking. They started to wonder, is there something more going on here? Like maybe a hidden purpose, a code written right into the stones themselves. And that's what led them to this truly revolutionary question. What if all of this incredibly meticulous work, all this engineering, what if it wasn't just about getting more food out of the ground? What if it was also about tracking the heavens? What if it was designed to align with the sun, the stars, the whole sky? So that became the big idea, the main hypothesis, that these terraces weren't just for feeding people. They were actually these immense, super precise solar calendars built to connect everyday life to the cycles of the cosmos. It's an incredible idea, right? But how do you prove it? That was going to take a serious modern breakthrough. Yeah, how do you test a theory like that? It's not like you can just hop in a time machine. Well, the answer, it turns out, was hiding in the shadows, literally. It all came down to decoding their movement using some seriously powerful modern tech. And this was the real challenge, you know? You've got this amazing idea about an ancient astronomical function, but how on earth do you prove it? I mean, the builders didn't exactly leave behind a user's manual. Okay, so the solution they came up with was just pure 21st century genius. First, they used AI to build a perfect 3D digital model, a digital twin, of the terraces. Then, and this part is just so cool, they programmed the AI to figure out the sun's exact path in the sky thousands of years ago. From there, they could run simulations to see how the shadows from specific granite stones would dance across the terraces all year long. They were hunting for a pattern. And what they found? Well, it wasn't just a pattern. It was the smoking gun. It was stunning, totally undeniable proof. Okay, so this is that aha moment, right here. Look at the difference. On any old day, the simulation shows the shadows are kind of messy, right? They just fall all over the place. But then, look at the simulation for the equinox. It's completely different. A single, perfect shadow line just appears. And it tracks the edge of one specific terrace perfectly all day long from sunrise all the way to sunset. And this isn't some random thing. This perfect alignment only happens twice a year. Exactly twice. On the dot. On the spring and autumn equinoxes. The chances of that being a coincidence? Basically zero. No way. This was absolutely intentional. It was designed this way. One of the researchers put it in this really beautiful way. They said, this was about grounding celestial movements into the very soil that fed ancient civilizations. I mean, wow. It just perfectly captures this deep, incredible connection they built between the heavens above and the earth below. But wait, it gets even bigger. The AI model showed that the alignment wasn't just about the sun. The line also pointed toward the Milky Way at that time of year. So they weren't just connecting their calendar to our star. They were connecting it to our entire galaxy. It's just incredible. So what do you even call something like this? It's a farm, but it's also a calendar. And it's also an observatory that's lined up with the galaxy. Yeah, you're going to need a new name for that. And the term they came up with is spiritual machinery. And that just reframes everything, doesn't it?
These terraces weren't just a tool for a physical job like growing potatoes. Nope. They were this incredibly sophisticated piece of technology designed to sync up an entire civilization, their food, their rituals, their whole sense of time with the massive, grand rhythm of the cosmos.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, first, these weren't just farms, they were sacred instruments. Second, they literally connected the very real need for food with the celestial order of the universe. And third, they proved that these ancient people had this deep, profound understanding of astronomy that we're only just now starting to rediscover. They were literally weaving the stars into the mountains that kept them alive. And that just leaves you wondering, doesn't it? If a secret this huge was hiding in plain sight all this time, right there in the mountains of Peru, what other incredible secrets, what other ancient wisdom is encoded in the landscapes all around us? Just waiting for the right person with the right tools to finally reveal it.